Hi everybody, this is part 3 of my prepping for the ocean or aquarium bead, and in this video I am going to be showing how to make anemone cane. This is also the same type of cane I use for the jellyfish or the nautilus tentacles, and it can also be made to be used in flower stamens for the center of flowers when you create those. So what I'm going to be making in this video is the pink anemone cane. You can make these any color you want your anemone to be, so it doesn't matter. But I used pink, and I also made a coral one that I used in another bead. But whatever colors you want to use. And I'm going to be encasing this. It's jelly sty, it's pink jelly sty, CIM color. I'm going to be encasing it totally around with clear. And so I'm swiping it on. I'm basically only using the thickness of the rod. So the rod could start melting and bending, and just straighten it out. And once you have at least the one layer of clear on there, it'll be easier to control and not really bend out of shape so much. So I'm just going to melt in this clear to smooth it out around that pink. And then I'll add another layer of clear. I want a nice thick encasement layer. And there are many different ways to make these types of canes. I can just put a really thick clear layer around it and then pull it out and fold it over on itself. And then continue to pull out and fold over, pull out and fold over, and you can have multiple like stripings of pink separated by clear that way. This way is a little more controlled. You could put the number of little separate tentacles or whatever you want to call them in this bead. This is just one way to make this. So there's multiple ways to make these. So whatever's best for you. But I'm just putting a nice thick layer of clear around. And I'm adding a little extra where it's thin, and I'm looking straight down at it. When you see me turn it like that, I'm looking straight down to see what side is thinner than the other side and adding a little more clear to that. So it's basically an even thickness, and my pink rod is in the center of the clear. And so I'm just going to melt this smooth. And this is about a 1-inch section of rod, just for reference. And so if I was going to just pull this out as it is and then fold it over, like I stated previously, I would have put a thicker layer of clear on it than I have right here. I probably would have put one more layer of clear on here. And then you could either pull it out and fold it over, like pull it out to twice as thick, fold it over, then melt that, pull it out again, fold it over, and continue doing that until you have as many stripings in there as you want. Or you can pull it out really thin and then kind of fuse you could cut all the pieces and then fuse them together. You could do it that way too. But this is just a way I have a little more control over how many stripes I put on there, etc. And then they're kind of even, which is not really necessary for an anemone. But it's just a little easier, I think, for me to do it this way. And it's just the way I've done it for years. So it's however you want to do it, really. So I placed my encased pink there onto a clear rod so I can use my pink rod for the other stripings, which I'm putting down now. And I have this video sped up a little bit, and I'm going to speed up even more later when I go to melt. This is about almost twice as fast. And I'm just laying down this pink because I want them to be about the same size as the center pink rod, which is a full thickness rod. And so I'm trying to get them so they're about an even thickness, all the outside stripes. So they're about the same as what's in the center. So I'm just adding a little more glass, trying to get it even, and so that they're thick enough. And since these are so tall, if I melted them down like this, they would all just bleed together, and I want to keep them separated. So I am adding this clear in between. And so I'm just adding these stripes of clear, and I want the clear to be the same height as the pink is. So I'll just add a little more clear until they're all the same height approximately. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to get them all about the same height so they're the same. The clear is the same as the pink. And so when it all melts down, all the pink will stay separated from each other. And so you'll have all these separate little tentacles. And that's the whole point of this stringer. So now I have it super fast. This is like 3 times speed, about 2.5 to 3 times speed. And I'm just melting this all down. And I kind of try to melt from one side to the other to force the air bubbles out. And sometimes you do get an air bubble trapped in there. And that's okay too. You don't have to use that little section of stringer if you don't want. But it's usually not a huge deal. So I'm just melting this all down. And once I have this all in this barrel shape that I want to do one final layer of encasing, because this stringer will be laid on like in layers right next to each other and right on top of each other. And so you want this stringer separated from another stringer that you're going to put right on top of it. You want to have some space in between there. So I want to encase this whole thing in clear so that all that pink is encased and it will stay separated. There will be a gap between this stringer and the next stringer I line up right next to it when I'm laying this down. So I'm just going around and putting my final layer of encasement on. And after that's done, I could pull this down. So I have my encasement on there, and now I'm going to punty up with another rod of clear. And on this one, I'm going to actually just melt down the sides so that they will pull out together. Instead of adding extra clear glass on either side like you do for a Marini cane, I'm just going to actually melt the edges down towards each rod on either side to get that taper from the outside edges to the rod. And you could see how it tapers down on the left side, and I'm doing the same on the right side. I'm heating just that edge and letting it melt down so that it tapers down, and I lost the rod there. So it tapers down into a football type shape. So I'll pull out all the stringer together. And so now I'm back to real time just to show you how fast I'm pulling or slow I'm pulling. And when you pull this, you really don't want to twist it. You want to keep it fairly straight. It's not hugely important for an anemone, and I kind of go off screen there. I'm sorry about that. but I'm just pulling this out to a 1.5 to 2 millimeters. They're fairly skinny. And I'll burn off that edge there. And then I have a nice little pink anemone cane. And so here's the 3 canes I made. I have the pink, I have the coral, and then I have a little bit of white cane, which I use for the jellyfish tentacles. So you can make these any color you want for your anemone or tentacles. And that's it for this part. Thanks for watching.